live streaming. Hello. How are you doing? Welcome to another installment of Bandless Bandcamp Friday. Hope you're well. It looks as though when you press the button to go live, that it actually shows you from previous. Like, it's always sort of streaming and it sort of catches it earlier. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's magic. Maybe it's not. But anyhow, this is the Bandless channel. Of course, you probably already know this because you had to come here to see this. But it's Bandcamp Friday, and every month, on the first Friday of every month, there's this event with Bandcamp, which is called Bandcamp Friday. And Bandcamp waives all of their fees, so artist takes all. That's not why we do it. I think the main reason we do it is because it is an event and there's a lot of activity in Bandcamp on that day. And it's a day that people kind of shoot for to release new material. And yeah, it's just a buzz. It's a cool mile marker. It's a cool thing to shoot for. It's a cool thing to participate in. It's a lot of fun. And over the last 2 years that we've been, I guess, has it been a year or 2 years that we've been doing this? Not sure. But over the last bit that we've been doing these streams, the activity has, been going up in terms of members of the various communities that I, am part of. People from those places, from those communities, have been participating more and shooting to release more, and yeah, it's just been more and more. So today's episode is the most amount of releases, the highest number of releases that we've seen yet. So I'm not going to talk as much as usual, and we're going to get right into it. Just before we get going, I'd just like to say hello to everyone. It's great to see you guys here. Kazuki, Alejandro, Gunky Zip, Thin as Memories, welcome. Jason, welcome. Rose, how are you? Rough Riffs, Ed Sweetman, Tim Wheeler, amazing. A lot of activity going on, and good to see all of you here. We're going to get right into it because, like I say, there's a lot. And yeah, I'm not sure if there's going to be any time to talk whatsoever. So I'm just queuing it up here. I got my comments on a secondary screen, so I don't have to bother with flipping as many screens over here. Like I got a laptop going on today. But our very first little jam-a-rooney here is going to be, we're going to start off with an old school homie who's been in the fold for a long time, who kind of co-founder of Bandless, and that is Mr. Nick Hill and his project Detra Cortina. And I think if you're just saying it in American, Detra Cortina. Anyhow, 2 new tracks from Nick Hill. They were released at the very end of September, September 30th. And yeah, we're going to check it out. It's going to be a good time. Here we go. Big intro. amazing new material from Nick Hill. For those of you who might be new to the format here, we only preview tracks, and sometimes we might even sort of scrub through a track a little bit just to get an idea of what it's about. And then I drop the link into the chat, and it's up to you to kind of follow up with those artists. It's not a radio show, so to speak. So if you're looking for more from any of the artists that we listen to, the links will be in the description. We just want to get a sense, a taste of what's going on, and maybe leave you hanging a little bit so that you get going on that track. But oh man, Nick Hill's in there. Hello, Nick Hill. How are you? Good to see you in there. I didn't tell anybody what I was playing today. I definitely go to the Discord groups and ask for links. A lot of them I usually have already, but just to make sure type of thing. Because I pay attention. I pay attention to what's going on out there. Anything in the Synth Chris is in there as well. Good to see you, Synth Chris. Awesome. So we're going to move along here. And next on the list is our pal Monovoth. This is, my level is off here. -7 is the magic number. Great. Monovoth is next up on the chopping block, and this is our pal Lucas Weisbrod from Argentina. And Lucas is a little bit famous in these circles with a variety of projects. One of his other projects that we feature a lot is Monovoth, and he also does Hail the Invisibles, etc., and a few other things. Anyhow, this is his latest release. It just dropped, I believe, today. Officially. It was sort of pre-promoted with one track for the last little bit, but this is it. This is the record. And a little bit more information about the show as well as this artist is we tend to focus on solo creators, meaning people who write, produce, and do everything, do as much themselves as possible. But it doesn't have to be completely solo. It can be collaborations. It can be people who maybe also work with a mixer or whatever. But the idea is the motivation for folks who are self-propelled and just throwing themselves at it, learning and getting on with it. Anyhow, so Monovoth, Lucas does do all of these things himself, but with this project, if we scroll down here, I believe there were a few people who contributed various pieces and whatnot to this. As you can see, Andrew Noosh, there's a couple people that he pulled in to be part of this. But some of the creatives that we're going to be looking at have done everything themselves. And it's not better or worse. It's just, a talking point, some details. Anyhow, let's take a listen. Which one? We're not going to listen to the very first, or maybe we will listen to the very first. With Monovoth, I have to say, sometimes there are very long intros, and to get a sense of the track, I might skim. So I may skim this track. Gonna skim a little bit, or maybe not. Yeah. So that is the almighty Monovoth. Very doomy, very dirgy, very broad spectrum, meaning I think a lot of the doom-oriented stuff, I'm not talking smack, but it is a little bit more predictable, or you already have an idea of what you're getting into. And I think what's interesting, at least to me, with Monovoth is it still manages to always have that doom, sludge, whatever kind of vibe, but it travels a lot more terrain. It expresses itself with a lot more different textures and aesthetics and sonics and all of these things. So yeah, Monovoth, very cool. I'm going to reset my gain here while I speak to -7 for all you audio geeks out there. But yeah, Lucas Weisbrod from Argentina. One-man show, but definitely, what do you call it? Collaborating and definitely working with other people, but mostly driven by Lucas. So next on the list, this one's very interesting to me. And this is Norwal, a fella from here, from Toronto, Ontario. Actually, a person that I kind of grew up with in a way. When in my late teens, early 20s, this fellow was a younger man, and we all skateboarded together. Or I guess we all skateboarded, and sometimes we ended up skateboarding together. We were not super close at that time because there was a huge age gap. But now we're all men. Now we're all adults. But Norwal. And this is Ed Sweetman. And this is his very first thing ever that he's recorded. He's been playing bass forever. But this is his very first thing that he's recorded, very first thing that he's produced, very first thing that he's done the whole thing. And yeah, I'm just going to play it, and we're going to get into it. Very interesting. Fading out. Really impressed with that. Not even for a first ever thing. Like there's certain aspects of it where I'm like, okay, like, first ever thing. I guess that has meaning or whatever, but like what I'm getting at isn't really that. It's hard to say. It's just like a lot of the ideas are so unbelievably elevated. This guy's been playing bass for a long time, but he only ever played bass. He never played drums. He never produced anything. He never did anything. All the instruments, like, it's just bass and bass, a high gain bass and a clean bass. I shouldn't say just. It's like, it's crazy. I don't know. It just really impressed me. It's so original. It's going to be out there for some people, I'm sure. But for me, it's like really exciting because I've never heard ideas like that. There's so much fresh stuff in there. It's crazy. And it really came out of left field. I didn't even know he was doing this, and I didn't know he was this far along. And yeah, it just showed up in my email like 2 days ago. Nice surprise. Would love to know. I dropped the link in there. Would love to know kind of what the sort of new things that maybe you heard in that. Really wild to me. I'm going to reset my gain here. I'm going to be doing this all night. -7, Scott. That's what we got. Yeah. Super cool. And next on the list is Joyburn. Another pal from the community from all the way down in Florida. I hope all is well with you, sir. Gio is from Florida. And, for those of you who don't know, Florida recently endured a lot of weather challenges, a lot of dangerous weather. So I hope all is well. You definitely have this sick track out, so that's cool. And this is going to be a little bit more in the metal category, but what's great about what Joyburn is doing is it's kind of broad spectrum, not afraid to go soft and all these sorts of things, but always kind of like, always kind of dark in a way. But yeah, one person production, guitars, drums, all that kind of stuff, producing. I think the artwork, let's see, audio, visual. Yeah, even the visuals from Gio. So very stoked. Let's check it out. Fade out here. I was kind of getting lost in that one. But that is Joyburn. I dropped the link in there if you'd like to follow it up. For those of you who are just joining us who don't know, we only play little highlights of clips. Sometimes we might even scrub a track just to get an idea of what it sounded like. And it's up to you to follow through and explore more if you like. So Moving along, we're not ever going back to the big camera. We're staying on the little camera because there's so many releases to get through here. This one, another Toronto homie. Dr. Keys, we're taking a little bit of a sidebar here. So, or not sidebar, but a little bit of a Y in the road from the heavier vibes into more chill and soothing vibes. So this is the track that is, or the release that is currently released, but it is a pre-order. So but we have this here, which was released last month, and I never streamed it last month. So actually September 6th, yeah, it would have missed Bandcamp Friday anyway by like what, a day, 2 days, something like that. I think it was on the 2nd or 3rd last month. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, this is Dr. Keys, and I believe all done by Dr. Keys, like absolutely everything. And like I say, a little bit of a different vibe on this one. Got to reset the gain. Look at that. I caught it before I pressed play. Unbelievable. And here we go. Matthew Dr. Keys, Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
I'll reset my expectations so I won't be disappointed again. Thought I left behind the demons, but they always want to seem to be my friends. I can start from the beginning, and it won't be long before I reach the end. Well, I met a girl on Friday, and I learned a bit too much about myself. Never seen her on a Tuesday, and confusion had me sitting on the shelf. Then she ran away on Thursday, and it's safe to say it didn't end well. Give up all my energy, forever burn this memory in my head.
Fading out. Of course, right when it's really kicking in. I got the link in there if you want to follow up with it. I was kind of getting really getting into the vibes and just chilling, and I'm like, whoa, it's like way over a minute that we played already. We usually play around a minute of a track, a minute 30 type of thing at max. But yeah, Dr. Keys, really like that. You know, I'm always a sucker for that distant in a room tone, and then all the band comes in, and you get all the close mics coming in. And it kind of started fading out right when that happened, but it's always a great effect, and I don't know, it's got an earthiness to it that is very welcome. A very welcome treatment for me in this age of everything sounding like computers. So yeah, great job. Very organic sounding stuff. Really nice. Nice to hear. Next up on the list, David Apoplexia. This is, I guess, Apoplexia Gravitation Flux. What track are we listening to today? We're listening to Apoplexia. This is a new Apoplexia tune. So this is going to be more in the world of drum and bass. So this Bandcamp channel is divided between a sort of drum and bass. He's one producer, but does a bunch of drum and bass kind of stuff, and very kind of artistic drum and bass kind of stuff. And then on the Gravitation Flux or Graviton Flux side of things, it's more metal-oriented kinds of things. And on that side, in that camp, you might find things that cross the boundary of like electronic things with very heavy elements, or very heavy elements with electronic elements, however you want to go. But I got to reset my gain. See, I keep catching it. There's going to be one tonight, I'm sure, that I'll just play it. I'll be like, no sound. But David, Apoplexia, is from Canada as well, Montreal to be specific. One-person production team. I don't know. Drums programmed by Taylor Danley. Oh, okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. That's another little nugget. So Taylor Danley, for those of you who don't know, is another YouTube homie. He's got a YouTube channel, jamming out in the United States, doing a whole bunch of death metal with those EMG pickups. Amazing dude, awesome channel, and 100% metal. And yeah, I knew that these guys were somewhat connected, that they knew each other and all these sorts of things. I did not know that they were going to do this. So let's take a listen. Okay, so it appears as though there are heavy tracks being done under the Apoplexia thing as well. So I'm not sure. Maybe Graviton Flux. I'm not sure what's happening here. But whatever, it doesn't matter. It's crushing. I don't know if David's going to be in the stream at any point, but he's definitely usually in the Discord, the Bandless Discord. So we can get more details from him in the future. I think that's my favorite heavy thing I've ever heard from him. It's really punishing. And it's very electronic as well, but like it's maybe the perfect merger of the two things. Yeah, that was pretty badass. Wow. All right, man, just all bangers tonight. What's going on? 7. There we go. See that? I'm catching the gain. I got the gain going, no problem. All right, so another release. We got like a lot more. Hope you guys dig that. For those of you just joining us, we only preview clips and then I drop the link in. If you like it, you follow up with it. I may scrub tracks depending on what's going on, just to get a feel for what is going on in the new release. And then if you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more, the link will be in the chat. So next up on the list is from Rosal. I guess Rosal. I'm never sure when I see H's in names, like if I'm doing it right. It's a very subtle thing. But Rosal is a part of the Bandless community, has been for quite a long time, and has only recently started sharing the things that they're working on. And this is actually pretty textural and interesting. different. It's going to be different again. And yeah, let's just get into it. And I believe from Michigan, right? Yes, Michigan. Yeah. And once again, completely solo this project is. Very organic and textural, and like I really feel like I can touch things in that. Yeah, it just feels so good. Nice tone. A really nice tone. Did I put it in there? I did not yet. Here we go. Bam. So the link for Rizal is right here. Bam. And you can follow up with that if you'd like to hear more. Resetting the gain. And yeah, so I noticed a comment from Kazuki there. Sorry, I'm not heavy in the chat there yet. I'm just trying to pay attention to what I'm doing because there's a lot of releases. I want to get through them. We can definitely chat. I can interact more with the chat at the end. But I noticed a comment somewhere in there saying lots of great releases this month. Yeah, I think there's great releases every single month, but it is I don't know, things are coming together for folks, and folks are, really trying. And I think a big thing is a lot of people seem to be getting kind of over their fears and just going for it. And I think magic happens when you just go for it. Always shoot for the stars, always try your best, always try to learn and develop, of course. But that fear thing, once you get over it, I think you develop more, you develop faster, and you develop in a more meaningful way once you start kind of putting yourself out there and just, going for it. And there's something really magical about going for it. But we're going to move along here to the Cosman. It's been a while since we've heard from the Cosman. Oh, and I'm super pumped for it. I don't know if you can tell, but Marauder music from the United States of America, and Mr. Cosman has been, hanging out in the bandless world and community since the very beginning. So it's really nice. I remember a time when Mr. Cosman had no tracks, and now he has quite a few. So I'm super stoked to get into it. I'm just going to double check my gain. It is good. Great. And we are going to hit it. Mr. Cosman, that was a big surprise. Very heavy. You always do heavier, heavier rock and verging on metal and whatnot, but this is like really heavy for Mr. Cosman. Not that heavier makes it better or anything like that, but like I really like it. I was just really surprised. I'm like, whoa, that's so friggin' heavy. From like based on what I'm used to from the past. It's just a big jump. Really great tones. So some interesting information about the Cosman. Did I put it in there? Bam. I didn't put it in there yet. Some interesting information here is that this is all done in Linux. And so I bring it up every time, and I bring it up every time because it's important and special. For those of you who feel like you're trapped in a system, trapped in your technology, like you don't have enough options under Windows or Apple, Linux is a viable option these days. And Cosman over at Marauder Music is doing everything in Linux. And if you'd like to take that on yourself, he would love to talk to you and tell you all about it. So that is a 100% Linux made piece of material. He did it all himself. He set up his system, his Linux system, all himself. He made all the music himself. He produces it all. He's a pretty good producer. He's been doing it for a long time. But yeah, very interesting. Nice, like just interesting surprise. It was so heavy. Pretty cool. So we're going to move along, not going back to the big camera at all until the very end. So what do we got here? Bag of Schmidt. Bam! Pretty stoked on Bag of Schmidt. I have a good idea of what we're getting into here. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but Bag of Schmidt is a member of the Bandless community and is from Michigan, USA. Flint, Michigan, USA. Quite a few Michiganites here this evening. I didn't take a count, but it might be 3. Anyway, very cool. We're going to get in. There's no info here, Bag of Schmidt, but sometimes Bag of Schmidt collaborates with other folks, like vocalists and whatnot. I'm not sure. I think you're in there? Yeah, you're in there. So if there's any kind of details that I might be missing, if you could share them, that'd be great. If there's any kind of collaborations on this, or if this is solely your own doing, they're got to give us a little bit more info in the Bandcamp fields. But I'm gonna check my levels. Oh, I'm back at it. Look at that, on top of things. This is Bag of Schmidt, Solar Dream. Bag of Schmidt always does a whole bunch of stuff that I'm really fond of. He mixes it up a lot, but there's like a whole bunch of chord voicings and phrasings that are always touched on in the material that they explore. And it's just like a lot of things that I'm like, oh, ooh, tasty, just a little hook in my flesh there. Yeah, I love how self-deprecating you are. Just some loser who makes music sometimes. Yeah, you crush it, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Very cool. And always stoked to hear more. There's quite a bit more on this Bandcamp channel if you want to explore what Bag of Schmidt is doing. And that goes for most of the artists that we're listening to tonight. I don't think anybody has just like one release. I think everybody that we're listening to tonight or checking out tonight has quite a bit to offer. So that's pretty cool. So we're moving along here to, this is from Kazuki Hiritani, and a bandless Bandcamp Friday regular, and a homie, always hanging out in all the cool places. A person who explores a lot of territory, is like very artistic, very creatively driven, just like what is going on with the world and what can I do with it, which is, I identify with that to some extent, and I appreciate that. This is a brand new single, and I believe there is a vocal version and an instrumental version, yes. And this is a collaboration with Alejandro Hernandez, and Alejandro is doing the vocals and rhythm guitars. Oh, wow. You guys this is a full-on collab. Good for you guys. But so not 100% solo, but nonetheless, very small pool of human resources and very big results. So let's take a listen. Did I reset my gain? I believe I did. I did. Great. This is Insomnia by Kazuki and Alejandro. And we're going to skim this one on recommendation from Kazuki because there's like pretty expansive parts going on. So that was not skimmable. I'm sorry. I wanted to hear what was going on there, and things changed enough. So we did not skim. There was no need to skim. Great track. I listened a little bit to it earlier. So I realized, I'm like, I know this track because I listened to it earlier today. But yeah, great. So I should give a little bit of backstory. The last few tracks that Kazuki has shared have been more electronic oriented types of tracks. One Light was the last one, and I believe we might have checked that one out twice on two different occasions. Not too sure. We definitely checked it out once for sure. But Kazuki has been talking for a little while. He's like, oh, I really want to get back to the guitars and the more like riffs and stuff like that. And that's what he's doing. Some of those riffs in there, I'm just like, how is it done? Like, is some of it actually finger picked? Like, some of the riffs are wild. I've never really heard riffs like that. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but there's a few things in there that I'm like, how would you play that? It's so interesting. So yeah, great track, Kazuki. You're finally back in the rock saddle here. Is that a thing? The rock saddle? It is now. Welcome to the rock saddle. And super stoked on that. Link is in there? Yes, link is in there. I don't even keep track of what I'm doing. I'm just doing it on autopilot here. Like, I'm like, get me to the riffs. More riffs, please. So we're moving along here. It is 8:48. We're doing good on time. With False God. This is El Paul. And El Paul has been showing up in almost every Bandless Bandcamp Friday for the last quite a few months, maybe 3 or 4. Not exactly sure, but yeah, I admire your output, and I'm super stoked that you keep on it. El Paul is from Ukraine, and what, you know, as it says in his description, one-man band, Genty and Thal stuff, but very much has his own kind of vibes going on. Very cool. Did I reset my gain? I think I did. Yes, I did. So this is Promise Rejection by False God, aka El Paul. And El Paul's in there if you'd like to talk to him about how he does his stuff, or if you, I don't know if he's open to collaborations or whatever, but yeah, check this out. I'm getting lost into the music here. There are so many nuggets in that that I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. Excellent job as always, El Paul. It's funny, like I kind of just expect it to be awesome. Maybe an unfair expectation, and not trying to set you up for for any kind of pressure or anything like that, but it's really good. Yeah, great. I don't have to say anything. I think everybody is kind of, knows what's going on. They're like, whoa. And very last but not least, the Bunn. This is not actually out because I didn't finish the cover. As you can see right here, that's a cover in progress. That's where I'm at. I do not have the artwork finished, so it's not officially released, but it's in draft, and we can take a listen to a little bit of it. But I'm not done. But, you know, in an effort to finally kind of be on one of these Bandcamp Fridays that I keep missing, I'm there, but I'm not quite there. It's going to be a day or two for me to finish the cover. But last little bit by the Bunn, and then I'm not sharing the link to this one because it's not available yet. But everybody else's links are in there, and you can follow up with all of them. I highly suggest. A lot of talent tonight, and just a lot of good vibes. And we're gonna have time to hang out in the comments and just chat, because I missed that entirely. This whole list took us entirely to this time, to the end, which is amazing. Anyhow, the Bunn, a new Foreigns tune called Harvest, not exactly done yet, but close. A little cleaner, this one. That's all you get. Like I say, not done. Can't share the link yet because I wasn't able to finish the art in time. But anyway, that's what I'm working on. Everyone else's tracks are available. All the links are in the chat. I highly suggest exploring all of it. Really, really great collection of material this evening. And by far the biggest list of new releases on a Bandcamp Friday Bandless stream ever. So get your tracks together for next month. We got 2 more months of 2022 left, but also of official Bandcamp Friday streams. Not sure if Bandcamp will continue with the Bandcamp Friday thing, in the new year. Up until now, it has been a COVID initiative to subsidize artists, who are not really making money, or touring was taken away and the presence of musicians was taken away because people couldn't perform live and all that kind of stuff. So it was an initiative on behalf of Bandcamp to kind of help the music community out a little bit more by waiving its fees and all that stuff. That all said, in the new year, I plan to still do the first Friday of every month, regardless if Bandcamp continues with waiving the fees or not. I think Bandcamp Friday moving forward is an amazing thing, just as a time to celebrate. It's a great target. The first Friday of every month. That's what we're shooting for, to finish our tracks, get our tracks out there, just keep the ball rolling. So I'm going to keep this stream going in the new year, but there's 2 more left for this year. So if you have tracks in the wing, get them finished up. If you're not part of the Bandless Discord community, I can share that link right now. And you can share your tracks in there at the end of the month, for Bandcamp Friday and otherwise, just, to share, because that's what this whole thing is about. And you don't have to be completely bandless. It can be collaborations, it can be duos, it can be full bands, actually. It's totally okay. We just really celebrate what do we got here? Server invite. How do I can't see anything. I'm trying to get the link to invite people. Copy. Great. But yeah, we celebrate the whole solo creator, but you don't have to be exclusively a solo creator to participate. But it's definitely on brand if you are, in fact, a solo creator. So there you go. Mr. Reaper Blog. John, how are you? I hope you're well. So I just recently did a podcast episode with John, actually. I don't think it's out yet. It's not out yet because I was there today. The home recording show. And yeah, when the details come available, I'll share it all then. But it was a great chat. We talked about baritone guitars and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, stoked for that. And Marauder Music says, so cool you host this, Bunn. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit greedy in hosting it. Like, I love Bandcamp. I love checking out new music on Bandcamp. I do it in my own personal time. And doing a stream around that topic is a buzz. I definitely get a buzz out of it. So, as much as I do it for the community and whatnot, the community aspect of it and whatnot, it is a little bit selfish. Like I really enjoy doing it. I love Bandcamp. I love new music. And it just so happens that the communities that I'm attached to, a lot of people are doing things with ideas that I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, it's inspiring. So, definitely a little bit self-serving, but I appreciate that you appreciate it. I appreciate that others appreciate it because I appreciate it, and us all appreciating it together is an amazing vibe. What else we got here? Kazuki Hiritani says it's always a milestone to shoot for, meaning the Bandcamp Fridays. Yeah, and I think that's an important reason why I want to keep it going, because it's been a great, a great milestone, a great target. Every month at the end of the month, whether you publish your tracks or not, it's just a great, it's a great target. First Friday of every month. Can I finish a track, at least one track? So yeah, it's a great target. Bag of Schmidt. On a side note, you reviewing Bandless, you making a review of Harley Benton Jazzmaster. Okay. So about the baritone guitars, I personally don't really do videos about baritone guitars anymore. I was thinking about going back to it. And then I went through all my old videos and I realized that I already covered all the topics related to baritone guitars. I suppose there are some other things I could probably cover. As far as reviewing gear, I really don't like reviewing gear anymore. My personal problem with it is that it feels like I am selling guitars. It feels like that I am helping companies sell guitars. And I don't know. It just feels like pushing consumerism and stuff like that. And there isn't a single company that is making guitars that I want. So there's that problem as well. So not doing a review of the Harley Benton, although I think I might order it for myself for other reasons. And Rose says, at the end of the day, we're a community of awesome people writing some awesome music. Yeah, there's nothing better than writing music, at least in our opinion, I guess. And Nick Hill says, maybe we need to make this a full radio show next year. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I don't know if I'd want to do it by myself. Nick Hill, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And Ripperblog says Tuesday, the Bunn John home recording show interview or sit down conversation is going to drop on Tuesday. So I'll be sharing links for all of that. It was a fun chat. We got into stuff about baritone guitars that doesn't often come up. And I'm trying to just catch up with the chat here a little bit. Oh, wow, amazing. I'm trying to post at least 4 tracks a month. Ed Sweetman. Okay, great point. He says, this Friday thing really pushed me to just say, that's it, I'm done. And that's a really good point. You know, it's something that I've been feeling for myself pretty much every month. You could work forever on your music. You could change it and tweak it and whatever. And granted, there are a lot of details and tweaks that are warranted, granted, worthy, whatever you want to call it. But I don't know. There's that saying, done is better than perfect. And it depends on your strategy as well. So like my personal strategy is I release demos every month. I try to release demos every month. And at the end of the year, I revisit all those demos and kind of rework them all into an official release. And then I release it to Spotify and all that kind of stuff. So if you're going about it that way, it doesn't have to be a perfect track every month. And that time frame, that target date for completion is very helpful to kind of help you manage your expectations, manage your time, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really stoked, Ed, that was a positive for you. It's been a positive for me, and I think it can be a positive for a lot of other people. Depends on what your strategy is and what you want out of it, but it can be very helpful. Done is better than perfect, especially if perfect isn't really important right now. And Rose posted 7 this month. Yeah, you've been a machine. That's crazy. Kazuki bought almost every release that was shown tonight. I'll have to go through the links to make sure I got them. That's rad. Bag of Schmidt, don't worry about the typing. It's the internet. It's hard to type on the internet. At least I find. I will type things in a word processor and check them. Then I'll post it and I'll be like, what's up with all this grammar and typos? Everything's askew. So it's just the internet does that for some reason. Kazuki says, I love your 50-year-old baritone guy series, Bunn. Really fun to watch, and I can't wait for the next part. Speaking of which, when is it? Well, the next video is something I've been working on right now. I've had some setbacks the last month, family-oriented things far beyond my control, nothing to do with my scheduling or personal performance whatsoever. So, yeah, video is in work, but not done yet, but will be out soon. And as for the next iteration of the 50-year-old baritone guy on the internet, not sure what we're going to do in 2022. But we're going to have fun and be creative, that's for sure. And Rose says, a longer form show sounds really draining. In terms of doing a long form show of this nature, like an actual radio show, yeah, it'd just be nice if you had a co-host, and you could split some of the technical stuff, split the workload for sure. Marauder, he can DJ. Okay, you and me, Cosman. And yeah, me, Nick Hill, and Marauder music. Okay, it's gonna be a 3-way show. We can do it. We should at least try one. And I'm learning. Ed is saying he's learning the basics of recording and mixing, so hit and miss for me. It's, to be truthful, it's hit and miss forever. I think no matter how good you get, I think you always sort of feel like there's something you can improve on or that you could learn more about and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's what makes music so awesome. It never really ends. There's zero chance of getting to the end of it. Did I put the Bandless link in there? I don't know if I did. How do I? Here we go. So this is the Bandless Discord link. If you're not, for those of you who are not involved, Darlington, that's what you guys are talking about. There's a lot of chat going on here. If you don't use Discord, you could. There is no community otherwise than the Discord. So I guess there's the Patreon. But the Patreon, I feel like I'd like to offer more at Patreon, and I'm not in the position to do much of that at the moment. So for Bandless specifically. So you could just send me an email. So scott@thebun.ca. And if you're not going to be part of the Bandless Discord community, which is perfectly reasonable, I was very hesitant to get involved with Discord, and I don't participate in it in many other Discords other than the ones I'm involved in. There's like one or two others, but it's very minimal. There's a lot to take care of, a lot to put your attention into. So if you're not going to do any of the communities, or you don't like having another app or whatever, you can just send me emails when you have new tracks and be like, hey, I finished a track. Definitely do it like really close to a Bandcamp Friday, first Friday of every month. So, on somewhere between the 30th and whenever the next, the Friday falls after that 30th. And yeah, I'm happy to share what people are making. I'm stoked. I'm looking for it. It's not like it's easy to find stuff. Like there's lots of people releasing music, but it's hard to find stuff that is kind of like indie, like truly indie, and part of a community and kind of driven by this whole solo creator aspect of all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm looking for stuff. Send it to me. What do we got here? Don't let great group. Okay, cool. I think we've kind of covered off on everything this evening. It is 9:11, 11 minutes after 9, or yeah. So I got to actually tear all this down. I do this on my dining room table, which was my temporary sort of studio for a moment, but it is not anymore. And it is our dining room table again. So I have to tear it all down. But I'm going to peace out for the evening. I hope you guys had a good time. I had a really good time. Really great, swath of music. It was really fun to get through it. Was really fun to see what was going on in the chat. I hope you guys are stoked. I'm peacing out, and we do this every first Friday of the month, Bandcamp Fridays. Even in 2023, if Bandcamp gets rid of Bandcamp Friday, we're going to keep it going. So, And C. Williams, last question. How is content creation going at Bunn HQ 2.0? It's going very well. Just getting into it. I had a lot of things to take care of this month, but it's so far going very, very well. Very stoked. And thank you for asking. I hope that your musical endeavors are also very fruitful. That's it for me this evening. And I hope you are well and spend your time making cool stuff because it makes you cooler. And it provides a happy existence, a meaningful existence. It's like, yeah, tasking yourself to creativity. It's very interesting. Good for the brain too. Anyway, I'm taking off. I'm the Bunn. All the links are in the description. All the links to the artists are in the chat. The chat will replay. And you'll be able to follow along at any point in time. Have an amazing night. I'm really tired. I gotta go.